Oh, yeah, here we go again. Hello, and welcome into Ray on Sports. I am your host, Johnny Ray. In this podcast, we talk all things sports from my own opinion. You may agree or you may disagree, but all I do is ask that you listen. So come on in, buckle up, and let's take this ride. All right. Here we go again, once again, right here for Ray on Sports. Coming to you live from the JR Studios here in Lancaster, California. And we have another very special guest, a fellow podcaster is going to come in. We're going to talk some sports. So at this time, I'll bring him in and we'll talk and see where we go. All right, let's go. Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm great, man. I'm great. This is Mr. Clint Daly. He's a fellow podcaster, but I think he's more of a legend in podcasting than me.
I don't know about that. that's using the word legend real fast and loose.
But he's doing it a little bit longer than me. He has his own podcast called the Daly Dose Podcast, which I just realized when I was listening to it, what the Daly means is your last name, Daly. I was like, oh, that makes sense. Daly Dose Podcast. Okay.
Yes.
He's a former high school basketball coach. Yeah, he's a former high school basketball coach and writer for a publication called like Bleacher Report and Mile High Sports Magazine. Clint is always ready to bring common sense approach to the sports world. So welcome in, sir. Thank you for coming in on Ray on Sports.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me. You know, anytime you need a guest, you let me know. Always enjoy talking sports.
All right. So let's get into it. What do you want? It's so much going on right now. You got I guess NBA training camp just started. You got the NFL going on. You got college football. So
honestly, is there a better time of year than right now?
Man, I mean, I love it.
I do too. And you get into the holidays and you get into, that kind of stuff. And hey, you got bowl games, you got, NFL's taking shape and the NBA and NHL are heating up a little bit. But right now, I mean, MLB playoffs are going. NFL and college football are rolling. Like you said, NBA, NHL, they're getting ready to start. It just doesn't get much better than right now. It is just a wonderful time of the year. It might be the best time of the year.
In the sports world, I believe it is because I don't know if I'm from the West Coast. I'm a diehard Laker fan.
Okay,
so
sure.
We have our ups and downs. I just watched the media. I watched the media conference yesterday. With interviewing all the players and the LeBron. LeBron James is the biggest thing going. LeBron and his son playing together.
Yeah,
so they went through all that. But for me, on that, it's like every person they interview, it's about LeBron.
Yeah.
It's never how you doing and your thing.
Yeah. No, of course. And I mean, he's the biggest name. He's the biggest name going in the league right now, no matter how the Lakers do. And of course, with it being the Lakers, it's just that much bigger. It's just that much brighter. All the spotlight is on the Lakers. Do we probably spend too much time talking about Lakers? Yeah, we probably do, but it's the biggest name and it's the biggest name on the biggest name team. So yeah, the Lakers are going to be, as usual, very interesting to watch. It'll be interesting to watch the NBA in general because while we know Boston won it all, isn't there a little bit of a feeling like, really? They won it all? Like I they're talented. I'm not saying they're not, but it kind of felt like everybody else just kind of wore themselves out and Boston kind of skated, beating up on the little sisters of the poor over in the Eastern Conference. Hey, I'm not taking anything away from them. You did what you should do, but you do kind of feel like hey, it's wide open this year. It's wide open this year.
I definitely feel like it's wide open this year. Especially, I mean, the East, they made some changes. You had Paul George go to Philly. You had some, other teams making some big moves.
Yeah.
Do you think Boston can compete? I mean, I think people say that for me, in anything, any championship, usually that team that comes out of nowhere, it's like by the time everybody figures it out, it's over. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's kind of what it was this year because, they go through that Eastern Conference. The Eastern Conference was banged up. They got to play in the playoffs, like teams with losing record. That's kind of nice. And then by the time they see Dallas in the finals, Dallas is so beat up. that it didn't matter. I would have even
Right.
liked to see Dallas healthy. That would have been interesting. But when it was Dallas, we got the JV team. It didn't feel like a really, really even, hey, everybody is firing on all cylinders kind of NBA playoffs this year. And that would have been a much more interesting situation. Hey, Boston is good. I'm not going to, act like but that Eastern Conference did not step up this year at all.
Right.
And we keep hearing, hey, the East is getting better. The East is getting better. Didn't see it this year. I know what the West has, and the West just beat each other up. I mean, that was brutal. They just beat each other up. So, hey, enjoy it while you can. Philly went out and got Embiid, that extension. Can he stay healthy is always going to be the question. Between him and Paul George, probably not. But, I mean, I guess we're going to see if anybody over on that Eastern side is going to give them, a test. We haven't seen it. We didn't see it this last year. That's for sure.
Right. I agree. And on the Eastern Conference front, I'm, for the Boston stuff, I'm a Laker fan, so I can't be a Boston fan. I can't even root for him if I wanted to. Sure. But I kind of rooted for Jason Tatum a little bit because I kind of saw I think he did a story or like a little video or bio or whatever with him and his son and how he takes his son to practice and how he's a good dad and all that stuff like that. So people were saying, well, did you root for him? I said, I kind of rooted for him because of that. But, in the general scheme of things, they got 18, we got 17. That's not going to sit well with any Laker fan.
Sure. Of course. Yeah. I mean, if you're a Laker fan, you can't look at Boston and be like, oh, well, good for them. No. It's cutthroat. Right. Too bad. No, I want to see, a couple teams over there. Can what happened to Milwaukee? Why wasn't Milwaukee better? It just completely fell apart. Hey, you went out and you add Lillard. Oh, this is a super team, or not, or they're going to be a first round exit. I mean, Miami, you kept waiting for Jimmy Butler to come out and kind of take over again, but he just wasn't capable of doing it. We talked a little bit about Philly and that kind of thing. And hey, at some point, Joel Embiid has to kind of prove he's the guy, doesn't he? I mean, we need him to kind of step up and show everyone, no, I can do this too. And so, I guess we're going to have to, have one of those 3 or 4 teams step up and challenge Boston.
Yeah. Now, on the Joel Embiid subject, do you think if they don't make it is a failure? Let's say not say don't make it to the playoffs. Let's say make it to at least the Eastern Conference Final. Do you consider that a failed season?
Yes. Yes, you do, because you went out and added another piece. You went out and paid big money to playoff P to step up and get it done in the postseason. Yes, it is a massive failure if they don't get it done. Now, will it probably be injury? Yeah, whatever. But you have the guy we're being told is the best player in the NBA, should be the MVP for the last 3 years. We're being told, go win one. Hey, our big white stiff here won one. Go win one. So I'm waiting for them to go get it done. And thus far, I haven't seen it. So yes, I absolutely declare that a failure if they don't get at least to the Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, my goodness, you are supposed to be a big dog. You went and added another big piece. Go prove it. Go do something with it.
Right. Oh, and I forgot you're a Nuggets fan. Oh my God. Yes, so I didn't even catch that. I would have. So
I'd have never gotten the invite.
But I mean, it's good. I talk about the Lakers, and I'm like I said, I'm diehard. I'm from. My God, I was back in the Magic days, and then when he left, and then we had the Sedale Threet and the Eldon Campbells of the world, and that tough time. Oh my God, every day was a milk of magnesia.
Right. Lakers fan talking about tough times is like me talking about tough times to Charger fan, by the way, because you don't know the meaning of tough times. Because I had to while you're enduring, those Sedale Threet days. we were thrilled with the Doug Moe time, and we didn't win anything. So yeah, I feel it. I understand what you're saying, but yeah, it's just it's been so crazy as of late, because I'll be very honest. When Denver won the title, we kind of all went, well, now what? We've never done this. And so it was something new to beat the Lakers that season and to win the title as a Nuggets fan, and a Nuggets fan going back, to those, David Thompson, Dan Issel kind of teams. Wow. Didn't know what to do. We were actually on vacation when it happened, and I literally was like looking around like, I have no idea how to handle this. I don't know how to process this.
Yeah, it was, to me, it was, and from our perspective, it was like, was it more of the coach or was it more of the players? Darvin Ham, maybe he wasn't the right fit.
Yeah. Maybe
he lost the respect of the team. In coaching, how do you get the respect of them teams or players? Is it more, because I heard something yesterday, and the reason why I'm saying this, because I was listening to Laker Media Day yesterday.
Yeah.
And they were saying about either somebody comes in, the coach comes in with respect, or if it's that rookie coach, he earns that respect the first day. And the way they're talking about it, JJ earned the respect the first day. So they're willing to run through a wall for this guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's be real clear. Every player, and I don't care if it's from the, from the middle school level to the professional level, every player looks at their coach and thinks one thing: how are you going to make me better? Are you going to help me reach those goals, myself and my team reach those goals? If I look at you and think, hey, this person can do that, then yeah, you've got my respect from day one. If I look at it and I go, I don't see it. I don't get it. I don't understand the vision. I don't see how you're going to make me better, let alone the team better, let alone when we get into the, we actually, encounter problems when we're actually dealing with adversity. That makes things change drastically. So, hey, JJ Redick should command some respect when he walks in that locker room. This is a guy that did it and did it well for a number of years. He gets it. Now, does it change when you get into adversity? Yeah, it does. We've got to see what he does then. We've got to see, how do they handle it when things don't go well? How do you handle it when you're on a 3-game losing streak and you're banged up, and LeBron is sitting out a couple of days because he's banged up. This is not a young guy. That's when we'll really see what JJ is capable of doing, because it changes then. Things change drastically.
Right. I agree. And that's what I saw last year, was a lot of Darvin didn't know how to adjust the lineups. He was playing guys he shouldn't have played. There was rumors going around that he was playing his favorites, and some of the guys he should have played, he didn't play. And I think once you do that, like you said, you lose respect in the locker room. It's like, you don't even know what you're doing. So how can we follow you? I know you saw some games, especially during the Denver series, you saw games where LeBron looked like he was just frustrated. Dude, call this, dude, call that, and you just sitting there looking crazy. Right. And as a fan, I try to get behind the coach, like, give him a minute. We got the roster to do it, whatever. But then after a while, it's like, I can't see it. I don't know where he's going with it. Right. And for people to say, the Lakers have a coach and then they get rid of him once he wins a championship or he gets into the finals. Yeah, that first year, because like I said, you take people by surprise because you make these trades at like mid-season. Yeah. And it gets you to the Western Conference Finals. But then the next year, how do you follow up with that? And what he followed up with it was he didn't know what he was doing. Yeah. In my opinion,
Sure. Here's a question for you, because you are a longtime Laker fan. You are a guy that has watched the history, that has watched the greats, the heydays of Laker Nation and all that. Mm-hmm. Showtime Lakers and Magic and Kareem, and who's the greatest Laker ever of all time?
Oh my God! See, you come on here causing controversy already. Oh God! For me, I would say greatest. I don't have I have a top three. How about that?
Okay. I'll take your three. Let's see what order you put them in.
I would say Magic first.
Sure.
Then I would put Kobe.
See?
And then I would put Jerry West. I'll put it in that order.
I like your list a lot. That's a solid list. Yeah, it's hard because when you got LeBron's obviously on the on the backside. He's on the back nine of his career. The way he takes care of himself, I suppose he could probably still play another 5 years the way he goes, but it's hard because there has been so much talent in that building. I mean,
Right.
is it possible that we underrate Kareem in that whole GOAT conversation?
Yeah,
Because
we
my
do.
goodness, they had to change the rules for the man. They had to
Right.
change the rules of the game for one guy. It's insane, but like Kareem kind of gets overlooked. Everybody, oh yeah, it's MJ, it's LeBron. There's a guy that they had to change the rules of the book for,
Right.
and his name was Kareem. So yeah, but at the same time, I don't dispute your list because what Magic did, what Kobe did, what Jerry West did, that is a phenomenal list, and all in their own right could be on top of the list. I mean,
Right.
West does it in a different era. West does it at a different time, but also West does it in a different era, and West does it in a different time. A much more wild NBA in that era. No, I kind of fun to make the list, but I don't know that you can go wrong with any of them.
Right. Yeah. And Magic, I say Magic because how he came in as a rookie
Sure, of
and
course.
just took over as soon as he got there. Kobe, when he came in, I remember when Kobe came in. I remember his first game. I remember
Yeah,
the missed free throws in Utah. I remember
sure.
all that. And I'm looking and I'm watching him and I'm like, who is this kid? I'm like, is he really? But I could see that in him from the first games. Like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
he's not going anywhere. He's gonna
No.
be something. But I don't know if you ever watched the I think it was on the NBA Network. They were doing the 96 draft that he was drafted in. And they
Okay.
were talking to God, was it Rick? I forgot his name from the Nets. He was the GM of the Nets at the time. And they
Okay.
asked him, why didn't you pick Kobe? He said, yeah, he's a good player, but he's not what we really want right now. Kerry Kittles is the guy that really I think will make it.
Kerry Kittles going back in what Villanova history here with Kerry Kittles. The question I think that gets missed so many times when we look at draft and we look at NFL, NHL, NBA, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
pick your draft. Hey, what has he done? What has he done? No. What does he want to be?
Right.
How great does he want to be? Because that is the
Right.
one thing you saw in Kobe right away that was different.
Mhm.
No,
Right.
I'm not happy being drafted. That wasn't
Right.
it for him. I want to be great. If you talked to most of the scouts, NBA, like I said, NFL, and you ask Johnny Manziel, do you want to be great? I think we all know the answer to that question. We know full well he didn't care about being great. He cared about the next party. I think
Right.
if you drafted with that a little more in mind, you might end up hitting on a little more picks than you do.
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, you got to see. I think Jerry West was a great eye for talent. He had a great eye for
Oh,
talent. He saw it in him, from day one. I don't know if you know the stories they've told about it. Is that Kobe was in high school, and Jerry got a call from a high school coach out there and said, "Hey, come see this kid. Come check this kid out." And Jerry knew right then and there. He's like, "Yeah, we're getting this guy. Whatever we got to do to trade to get him, we're getting him." And they end up getting him. They end up telling, I think it was Charlotte. He told
Charlotte.
Charlotte,
Yep.
"Yeah,
Yep.
go ahead and draft him.
Yeah.
We'll take him off your hands because I know he's just a prospect. We'll take him off your hands." But Jerry said from day one he knew Kobe was going to be great, and Jerry hasn't missed on anything.
No, he hasn't. And speaking of underrated, if you want to talk about a front office guy, I don't know if there's better ever anywhere, any sport, anytime than Jerry West.
Yeah,
When you look at what he did with the Lakers,
right.
you look at what he did even with Memphis, you look at what he did
Mhm.
with Golden State, the Clippers. Hey, these are three franchises, not counting the Lakers. These are three franchises that didn't know anything about winning ever. They were a laughing stock. Make all the jokes you want about the Clippers. No, the Warriors didn't win anything. We remember even in the run days and all that, they still
Right.
didn't win. Jerry West changed everything in the
Yep.
NBA.
I agree.
Unbelievable knack for
I agree.
finding talent getting the right guy. You want to talk about the guy that was asking the right questions? That was Jerry West. Unbelievable.
Right.
What an incredible story.
Amazing. You know, we talk about NBA players. You know, we just lost Dikembe. I know he played for the Nuggets for a long time.
Yeah,
You know,
what a good guy.
Yeah, I was talking to my wife about it. I told my wife, I said, "Hey, Dikembe Mutombo died." She's like, "Who?" I'm like, "Oh my God,
yeah.
do I have to bring up the tapes for you because you don't know who he is?" But
no, Dikembe to Denver. Denver absolutely loved Dikembe. We'll never forget him clutching the ball Game 5 against the Seattle Supersonics in 90-4, and absolutely incredible run that team went on. People kind of forget that they went to Game 7 with Utah to go to the NBA Finals, but had they or to go to the Western Conference Finals, but they had beaten Houston well that year. They matched it well with Houston that year, and they had matched it well with the Knicks that year as well. That might have been at the time kind of the closest we ever felt here in Denver. Like, no, we've got a shot. But Dikembe Mutombo, such a force inside. And such a good man. Aside from that, everything I've heard, I'm sure you've heard the story that I believe it's his mom got really, really sick, and it took them forever to get like 911 to come to her in the town that they were in. And so he went and had a hospital built in that town.
Yeah,
he was like, we don't have enough. We don't have enough resources here. So he just went and built a hospital. So no, just seemed like a great guy, quality guy. And I don't know about you, I hadn't heard that he was even sick. He kind of kept that quiet, kind of kept that to himself, a very private guy after he got, out of the spotlight. But no, phenomenal guy, and a guy that, kind of changed the way you had to play against him, because you can take it inside if you want, but he was going to throw that stuff out.
Wow. Okay, so let's talk like you said about Jerry West changing the game and Dikembe changing the game. What would be your top 4 players in the NBA that had changed the game? In your opinion?
Oh, goodness. That's a tough one, because here's the hard part for me. As great as, the Wilt Chamberlain, the Michael Jordan, the LeBron James are, the kid at the playground can't go do that stuff. You can't. Right. I'm sorry. You wish, hey, I wish I was 6'8" and could, run like a gazelle. And yeah, we all do, but no one is. So from that perspective, I would probably throw in, I guess, Magic has to go on the list, because Magic changed the way the point guard position was played. No one was his size playing point. They did not just say, hey, go down in the block, go do work down there. No, Magic could run the point. His vision was insane. His ability to pass, his ability to hit the shot, his ability to finish at the basket, Magic has to be on the list. I would probably put Larry Bird on the list, because Bird was a guy that you looked at and said, he can't run, he can't jump. Well, what can he do? Well, he can completely dominate the NBA. If you want to look at a guy that might be the closest to what Nikola Jokic is now, you can probably look at Larry Bird. If you looked at Luka Doncic and said, hey, Larry Bird couldn't play today. Well, he is playing today. He plays for the Mavericks. He's too slow. He can't jump, and he's dominating the league. So I would say Larry Bird made it. I don't have to be that insane athlete to dominate the NBA. Larry Bird did that. And while I understand why we look at, his tape now and the way he ran like a pregnant deer, I get it, but he totally dominated the league at a time when the league was stacked with talent too, because of, it hadn't expanded so much. I have to put Steph Curry in there, because if you go to the gym now, every single kid wants to be Steph. Now, don't get me wrong. A lot of these kids are idiots and shouldn't be trying to be like Steph, but every one of them wants to be like Steph. So I've got to put Steph Curry on there, because he changed the game. Do you have Caitlin Clark even without Steph Curry? I don't know that you do.
No.
He changed the game. Steph Curry was a complete game changer from that perspective. So I would probably put him on my list as well. Gosh, can I come up with 2 more that I would put on my list? I mean, I'll put Kareem on there, because Kareem changed the game. Yeah, they literally changed the rules for Kareem, so Kareem's got to be on the list. I'll put him in there as well. And then I guess my final pick, and this is probably backwards. No, you couldn't be him talent wise, but I got to put MJ on the list because everybody wanted to be like Mike. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
The planet wanted to be like Mike. I mean, he went and played internationally, and literally planet Earth said, we want to be like that guy. So I've got to put Michael Jordan on the list because, hey, as great as LeBron is, and I'm not taking away from his greatness, never forget whose logo is on his shoes.
That's right. Yeah, you got to.
MJ was just a different breed, and you know, to a degree, same thing with Magic and Larry. Just right guy at the right time. You were in the perfect spot. It just, hey, the stars aligned.
Right. Now, do you see any team that has that player or that guy that would dominate like MJ did? Because, you know, when MJ played, every other, I hear from other players that says, if it wasn't for MJ, I would have won X amount of championships. If it wasn't for MJ, I would have did this. If it wasn't, do you see that now? Do you see that trend now? Because with all, you know, superstars changing teams so much, do you see that trend happening anymore?
No. to answer simply, no. And you know, you bring up a good point, because you think of the guys that Mike kept from winning titles or multiple titles, because obviously, you know, he stopped, you know, Isaiah and Dumars and that kind of thing. He never let the Cavaliers, and that was a very, very good team with Nance and Doherty and Price and that group. A lot of times I know, especially from the young ones, I know from the little fellas, that they all look and they go, well, look, who did he beat in the finals? And you sit there and say, well, he beat Barkley, he beat Kemp and Payton, he beat Magic, he beat Stockton Malone. So he kept them from, but let's not forget who he was beating on that Eastern side, because he was knocking off Patrick Ewing, he was knocking off Alonzo Mourning. He kept a lot of guys, like you said, from winning titles during his watch. You didn't get to do that. I think that is also another thing that separates Michael from everyone else, is you didn't get those titles. I understand it took him a while to get there. I also know that we're old enough to remember what Chicago used to be. Kind of what they are now, horrible at everything.
Right.
But Chicago was the dog meat of the NBA. They were not even, oh no, they're respectable. Good. No, they're horrible. Every year they're horrible. They're one of the worst teams in the league every single year. Michael had to overcome quite a bit when he joined that team and came into the league. Now, it took him a while to do it. He had to get by Bird. He had to get by, you know, Isaiah and those teams that were over in the East. But I don't see anyone that way now. It's different. I haven't seen that yet. I like the kid from Minnesota. Hey, Anthony Edwards is a special talent.
Yeah.
Also play defense.
Right.
I mean, I love what that kid does. Got a little bit of dog in him, and go out and tear it up. And I know what he did to Denver last year. Right. And then I saw what he did against Dallas, and I was like, where'd he go? Like, what happened? Because I don't remember guys just going out and scorching Mike for 40, but you know, maybe I forgot that. I just put that in the vault. I don't know, but yeah, that is probably the guy that I look at right now and just go, no, he's got some nasty to him that he can take not just a game, but a series over and completely dominate it. I just haven't seen anything like Jordan. Not since Kobe. Kobe was a cold-blooded killer. And I'll give Kobe that. But not since, those two guys that was different. It was different.
Yeah. Now, with talking about Anthony Edwards, and you know that you heard about the trade.
Yes.
They just Karl Anthony Towns to the Knicks.
Yeah.
I think, in my opinion, they moved Karl because him and Gobert couldn't play together.
Right.
I think that was one of the biggest things. And maybe, I don't know if Anthony has something to do with it. He sounds like he does it, like it caught him off guard. But, you know, you're a superstar of a team. You got to have some say in what's going on. You got to have some, no matter what they say about, oh, I don't say anything. Like LeBron says, oh, I don't say anything to the front office. Yes, you do. You talk to him. You give him some kind of input and say, hey.
Honestly, if you don't, you're kind of stupid, aren't you? I mean, you got to.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So what do you think about the trade, though? In all?
The trade is interesting to me. The Knicks do break up that, that Villanova squad they had going there, which kind of surprised me, to be honest. The trade is interesting because, like you mentioned, Cat and Gobert playing together. Hey, it could be that, two-headed monster, and then you add Ant in there and it changes things even more. But you do also have to remember at the defensive end, teams have no problem going small ball and spacing you out and making you come chase them. And I do wonder if Minnesota was like, I don't know if we're ever going to get over the hump with two big guys trying to chase people around. So they go make the move. They're going to bring in, DiVincenzo. They're going to bring in
Julius Randle.
Julius Randle.
Yeah.
Randall will be hurt in the first week. We all know that. It'll be interesting to see, one, how does that change the dynamic in Minnesota? Because it did feel like Minnesota was kind of putting something together. They might be special. They might have been, something good. It'll be interesting to see how that affects that. Also, Karl Anthony Towns, you've been in Minnesota. You've had a nice little run. But Minnesota, they're different. It's different. When you commit 4 fouls in 30 seconds in MSG, that crowd's going to let you know what an idiot you are. And he hasn't had that.
Exactly.
Not like that. Not like a New York crowd. It's a different animal back there. That's going to be different. Right. He does go back to playing for Thibodeau. We know Thibodeau does like to work his players. I expect Cat's knees to look like a braised ham by, Thanksgiving, because they will be beaten to death. They will be worked like they've been in the slow cooker. So Cat will probably get a little more banged up, playing for Tibbs, because Tibbs, that's what he does. He beats you up. I don't know if I like that move for Minnesota. It seemed like it was kind of working. I don't know. I guess we'll see, but it seemed like it was kind of working. If Randall's healthy.
But the thing about Randall is Randall's a ball hog, though. That's the problem.
Yes, he's a black hole in the paint. So once the ball goes to him, it ain't coming back out.
Right. So that's the part I don't see working with him and Ant is, how are you going to play off? He's not going to play off of Ant. No, he's going to demand the ball in the post. He's going to tell Gobert to get out of there. Yes. And I don't know. So
you're exactly right.
I don't see how this is working.
I don't either. DiVincenzo's a tough kid. He'll scrap. He'll knock down some shots. I like that. I don't know how it works with Randall. It feels like that is just a bad match. Now, it kind of takes some of that front court offensive pressure off of Gobert, because now all you have to do is go clean up mess, because you're not going to get the ball. So it doesn't matter. We don't need you to create anything. Just go clean stuff up. But like you mentioned, aren't you going to be taking probably 8 to 10 shots away per night from Ant? That seems like a bad combo to me. Yep. I guess we'll see. I'm not buying it.
All right. So let's switch gears. Let's talk NFL. Since NFL is here.
Yes.
I'm sure you're a Nuggets. What is that? A Bronco fan?
Yes. I'm a big Broncos fan going way, way, way back. Yes, we are orange crush through and through. Of course, absolutely.
Wow. Now I'm a diehard Niner fan. I'm not a Rams fan. Don't.
You're going to go up.
Don't put that on me. Don't put that on me.
I didn't know if you'd go. Rams, Raiders, Chargers. I didn't know what you're going to do. So Niners. I get it. Okay.
Oh, I'm diehard Niner.
All right.
What do you think NFL so far? So I heard your last podcast a little bit talking about the games and stuff like that. So give me your take on it.
The NFL is the king of sports here in this country. The NFL is the king because of parity. You look at the standings right now. You've got what? 1 or 2 maybe undefeated teams. You've got 1 or 2 teams without a win. It's everybody is right in the middle. And, everybody, this is why the NFL draft is huge, because everybody thinks they have hope. Do they? Probably not. But everybody thinks they have hope because parity is king in the NFL and nobody does it better than they do. Hey, their schedule is not so long as the NBA or MLB or any of those. 16, 18 weeks. Everybody thinks they have a chance, even though we know that they probably don't. But at the same time, every year we get those teams that surprise us that we're like, we never saw it coming. We never thought Minnesota this year would look like they do. There's no way. They lost McCarthy. They've kind of moved some pieces around. They get rid of Cousins. Look at Minnesota. Now they're sitting on top. Never dreamed it. Last year, we're looking at Green Bay. Same thing. We're going, well, they're not going to do anything. Jordan Love, he's not the guy. They come out and they dominate. So every year in the NFL, you have teams that step up that we didn't see coming. And every year in the NFL, we have teams take a step back again that we didn't see coming. And for that reason, the NFL is king. And they get all the TV. They're going into Christmas Day now and just taking food out of the NBA's mouth and be like, that's not yours. We're going to eat that too. The NBA is greedy and they don't care. The NFL is just taking it from everybody. They're crushing it though. What can you say?
Yeah. So talking about the the Vikings. So yes. they have Sam Darnold. My approach on it, because he used to be our backup last year, and I say 49er backup last year.
Yep.
Shanahan has a way of getting the best out of a quarterback. Yes, sends him over to Minnesota. Minnesota sees something in him. Do you think it's more of him taking everybody by storm, and they're not really adjusting to him, and they'll probably figure it out maybe halfway through the season? Or you think Sam has
that's a good point. It's interesting because you could bring up a very good point. They haven't seen him yet. We haven't seen him since he was whatever with the Jets or whatever. So who knows? But I do think when you change that landscape and when you change those expectations, and we're seeing that front and center right now with Baker Mayfield in Tampa, you no longer have that, hey, the franchise is waiting for you to carry us. These guys don't know how to carry anything. They're just trying to figure things out. They can't possibly drag a franchise kicking and screaming into the postseason, where they don't even know what they're doing. And so when you change those expectations do funny things. They do funny things to players, coaches, teams. And sometimes just having that off of your back and going, I don't have to go carry this horrible team. I just got to go out and do my job. I wasn't the first round draft pick here. I'm not the guy expected to be the savior here. I can just go in and do my job. I don't think it's a coincidence that we have seen guys go to new places other than where they were drafted and sometimes have more success than they did it at the place that originally took them, because they kind of brush all that stuff off and go, oh, I got humbled a little bit. I learned the game a little bit. I learned under a guy like, Kyle Shanahan. And yes, I almost said Mike Shanahan because I'm old, but I didn't. And I learned the game and figured out how to play. And now I can step into my role and do my job. And I think changing expectations, sometimes that is what cures you. Now, can he keep it up when they do have film on him? When they do go, okay, we're going to take away what you like to do. Now you've got it. Now you've got to beat us again. That's going to get real interesting. We're going to find out.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now, what do you think about rookie quarterbacks? We got Caleb. We got the guy in the Commanders. Yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, guys, every rookie that comes in, and I'm trying to think back to the rookie that came in and truly took the league by storm. And my goodness, I don't even know who that would be. Are we going back to Andrew Luck? Where are we going? It's been a long time. You don't. Wow. It's so much. It's coming at you so fast. They are taking everything away from you that they know you want to do. And what can you do next? Jaden Daniels up at Washington's a really, really interesting case, because he's coming in and right now he's looking a lot better than anyone expected. Hey, this kid can make the throws. He's highly athletic. Now, we did see that one other time in Washington from a guy named Robert Griffin, and we remember how that ended. He couldn't avoid the big hit, and as a result, his career was cut short. Daniels does take some hits. He does take some big hits. And as the Colts and Anthony Richardson would tell you, it's just a matter of time before the big hit knocks you out of the game. NFL defenses are paid to knock you out of the game.
Exactly.
There are certain guys that don't quite figure that out, though. I really like what Daniels is doing. Is it sustainable? I don't know. I don't know if he can stay healthy. I'm hoping he stays healthy, because he's really fun to watch. He's really entertaining. But the NFL honestly is that league of not for long when you take big hits. And right now, I've seen him take 2 or 3 already. That's too many. It's a matter of time before it knocks out. He's not a big guy anyway. Bo Nix here in Denver, honestly, it kind of feels a little bit like Tebow ball right now because he can throw it, but he has no idea what he's looking at. He doesn't know. You can see. He's starting to kind of, every once in a while, you'll see a flash. You'll be like, oh, hey, he actually went back, made the read, found the guy, hit the guy. But you kind of take for granted with these young guys, everything they're processing so quick. What's my coverage? What's my protection? What's my play? Oh my goodness, there's also a play clock. Oh, and I have to throw an accurate ball with a 300-pounder breathing down my neck. We take that for granted. That is the hardest position in professional sports, and it isn't close. So these young guys, they tread water, try not to kill yourself, try not to lose the game before you have a chance to win the game. And then we'll see, who can float. Caleb is extremely talented. That blame is going to crash down on his head coach if they don't start winning soon.
I agree.
Because Eberflus will get fired sooner rather than later. And never mistake, the front office is never going to fire themselves. They're going to fire the head coach, and that's who it's going to fall on. So, yeah, Chicago better figure out something real quick because they're playing for Eberflus's job right now.
Right. But they're saying in Chicago it's more of the O-line not blocking well.
And it very well may be. And again, that goes back to being a young quarterback. I don't know how good the offensive lines were for Tom Brady and Peyton Manning and some of those guys. It didn't matter. They hid it so well. They hid their offensive line. And Caleb doesn't know how to do that just yet. And so, the offensive line's gonna take the brunt. I know, last year here in Denver, the offensive line took the brunt because a quarterback that wasn't very good. The quarterback can also make them look better than maybe they are, and he can make them look worse than maybe they are. When you okie doke yourself into sacks because you're seeing ghosts out there, Russell Wilson, your offensive line gets the blame. And they don't appreciate it.
No, they don't. And do you now on that note, I know you've been in the game and you know sports like that. Do you think there's time when the O-line just says Ole and just let that guy come through?
I think there are times that the offensive line isn't killing themselves to help you. They're not gonna. They want to get they want to get good film too. But hey, my bad.
Oh, sorry, didn't catch that. All
right. No, I think it happens. I think it has to happen at some point. How could it not?
Right. So we got Trent Williams in Niners. They were making a big deal about him, about his signing, and he kind of shows that you need him out there because without him out there, that's when we had our losses was when he wasn't playing. So he's showing his worth, and for me, let's talk about why does it take so long for a franchise to end up signing someone who they know they need that bad? What are the things that go on?
This is the difference, and Rock said it best, but this is the difference between being rich and being wealthy. The players are rich. The owner is wealthy, and he is stingy, and he's not going to give his money until he absolutely has to give his money because they're all stingy. And so they hold out and they hold out. Are you sure you want to go somewhere else? I mean, we could send you somewhere else. You're a bunch of liars. But that is how owners become owners because they're stingy and they're rich and they're not going to just hand their money out for free. Should they have given him an extension a long time ago? Of course they should have. He's phenomenal. He is literally that bookend you want on your line, but they're stingy. And rich people, they don't like parting with their money. They don't like being, conned or lied to. They're going to make you earn it. That's how they got rich. It's not fair. Yeah. It's not nice, but it's true.
Case in point, Jerry Jones, the one we always talk about.
Right. Of course. Now Jerry is in such a weird position too, because not only is Jerry the owner, Jerry is also the GM. And Jerry's out of his doggone mind. He has a big problem right now because that team, everybody's contract is coming up.
Right.
You went and signed CeeDee Lamb. And hey, CeeDee Lamb, again, talked about a guy that deserved it. CeeDee Lamb deserves it. He's a phenomenal player. And also, what about your quarterback? What about your coach? What about everybody? Hey, that might be a mess this year. The Cowboys had better start winning and winning quickly, because otherwise, wait, are you going to burn it all down? We thought for years, because hey, they won those titles. Jerry is all about winning, all about winning. Now I'm starting to wonder, is he all about winning? Because I don't. Is he just happy that he has a place to go on Sundays? I don't know. I'm starting to wonder if the people around him have to face his chair toward the field, because he doesn't even know what he's looking at anymore. It's starting to feel like Jerry is slipping at least a little bit, bit, because that season is pivotal for that franchise.
It is. It's very pivotal.
I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. Yeah, I don't know how they're gonna come around on this, but they can't run the ball effectively.
No.
They've got a running back that's about 5 years past his prime, and also they can't stop the run effectively. That's a bad combination in the NFL. And when you're scraping out wins against the Giants, yeah, might not go well for you this year.
Right.
Jerry world might get turned upside down.
And I heard, Micah Parsons talks a lot. He has his own podcast. He talks a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you heard. I heard that one of his teammates say, "Well, if you went on your podcast so much, maybe we can win some games."
This is what happens. I mean, win or get out and shut up. And if he was winning, they'd be like, "Hey, this is what happens when you talk on your podcast about how great you are." But when you lose, losing flavors everything. You can get away with so much stuff if you're winning. Hey, if you're winning and you're Mike Tyson and you're knocking people out, go party all you want. But when Buster Douglas knocks you out, he partied too much. Well, which was it? I mean, it can't be both ways. Winning cures everything. And right now, Dallas is not winning. And I don't know. I get the feeling the back half of the schedule for Dallas might get a little bit tough for them, because they've got some flaws with the setup of that roster, and everybody's due a contract. Everybody's coming due on money. So what do you do? It might get ugly down in Big D this year, and that's that's fine.
Hey, I'm with you. It's fine with me. So they got the Steelers, the Lions, and the Niners coming up.
Yeah, so there's 3 losses. I don't know who else they have, but there's 3 losses.
I agree because the Steelers are not a joke.
No, Tomlin, and that defense. I know the offense isn't great. But how are you going to score? They're going to hit you in the mouth. No, that Pittsburgh defense is tough. We saw them, in week 2 here in Denver. And you want to talk about looking like a Tebow team. Holy cow, we couldn't get a first down, let alone a touchdown. So, yeah, that Steelers defense is tough. No, Dallas has a hassle.
Yeah. Lions, their defense is okay, but their offense is clicking. It's clicking.
Yeah, that offense is nasty. And Goff has a lot of weapons.
Yeah.
Running game is a little bit stronger now. Offensive line is a little bit better now. No, that Detroit team, it kind of feels like if Detroit won like a Super Bowl, like we're all heading down to the bomb shelter because the world is ending, right? But I don't know though. Like they're right there. So I don't know. Detroit is no joke this year. It sounds weird to say it out loud, but it's true.
Yeah. And then they talk about, the Niners, they talk about our team, and I'm in LA, I got a lot of Rams fans around me, and I'm wearing my jersey proud. Like, I don't care what you say. So, I bowled on the league. So I went there Monday and had my jersey on there. It's like, oh, what happened to your Niners against the Rams? And I'm like, hey, we were down like 8 starters, Well, and they're like, well, a win is a win. I'm like, don't come at me like that.
Well, San Francisco's got to get healthy. They've got to get their people on the field. They don't have everybody out there. And now the Rams are kind of in that same boat now, because now they're getting banged up too. And the NFL season, it is not just who do you roll out there. It is who comes in after that guy gets hurt. And if you don't have that depth, it can bite you. And you've got to have, at least in some key spots, you've got to have some depth that can step in and take over when someone goes down. I know every team, you lose the wrong guy, it can go bad fast. But I mean, at that level, you've got to have some people that can step up at least in a few spots. You saw San Francisco week 1, CMC's out. Hey, send in the next guy, the next man up, and stepped in and did well. So yeah, the NFL, that war of attrition is real. The NFL is very, very tough in that regard because injuries happen. It just, who can overcome them?
Right. It's just the way of the game. You got to have it, like you said, next man up. What is your surprise team this year in the NFL?
I don't know, because you look around the league. Honestly, I guess it's getting old now, but I right now I would have to say Minnesota, because I expected absolutely nothing from them. I thought they would be the bottom dweller of that division. I didn't think they would be even ahead of Chicago, and right now they're on top of everyone. So I guess that would be a team I would look at as a surprise. In the AFC, as weird as it sounds, it might be the Buffalo Bills, just because a lot of people were saying, hey, they're going to take a step back. They lost some weapons. I think they're better this year than they were last year. I think they're actually a little bit better without Diggs over there complaining about, his catches or whatever. And so I know they got taken to the woodshed the other night, just, getting pounded by Baltimore up front, although Baltimore was playing for their season and everybody knew it. But I almost feel like it might be Buffalo, just because they might be a little bit better by losing a couple of people. Now, the news came out today about Von Miller. That hurts them a little bit, but I don't know if they were getting that much production out of Von, aside from him being a threat to get to the quarterback on third and long or whatever. But it might be Buffalo for me on the AFC side, because they have kind of looked still like they are a contender, at least.
Okay. So what do you, let's see, Buffalo. Oh yeah. So what do you think about the Chiefs though? Are you thinking, because I've watched some of the first couple of games, and they're barely winning. They're not dominating. They're not dominating.
Nope.
They're winning
they're just going to keep barely winning all year.
Right.
And you couldn't find anything that's going to make me vomit faster, but they're just going to keep winning all year, because Patrick Mahomes just won't lose. He just refuses to lose. And, now, you lose Rice, or at least we think they're going to lose Rice. It sounds like. I know they're going to redo that MRI or whatever, but Patrick Mahomes just keeps going. And about the time you think, hey, they look susceptible. Nope. Don't believe the hype. The Chiefs are still going to find a way to win. They just do. Until Mahomes is not on the field, then I'll think about changing it. But until that point, no, the Chiefs are going to just keep winning. It might not be pretty.
It is what it is.
It might not be. They might have to come from behind. But honestly, this last week when the Chargers went up on them 10-0, did any of us really think the Chargers were going to do anything? No, we all went matter time.
Nope.
Chiefs are going to Chiefs, and Chargers are going to Charger, and that's exactly what they did.
Right. Yeah, the charge. I don't know. I'm looking at him.
He's got a lot of work to do. That's a rebuild.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They lost a lot of people. They lost a lot of people, and he doesn't want to play that style. He wants to, smash in the mouth. He wants to build up front. He wants to be a running team. It's going to take a while, but he's done it everywhere he's gone, and he's been successful. So I would imagine it's a matter of time before he gets the Chargers at least respectable. They'll eventually be respectable. Of course, they have to play out their games on the road, but I mean, they'll have to figure that out.
Right. Now, so in not Tennessee, I'm sorry, in Baltimore.
Yeah.
So they made the trade to get Henry.
Yeah.
And then the first game of the season, they don't use him like they should use him. But I think now, going into the fifth game now, they finally figured out, we got a guy back here who can actually run, who can actually knock some people down, who can actually stiff arm some guys, and taking some of the pressure off the quarterback. How do you think that's going to work out for them in the end?
It'll work out for them well if they don't try to outsmart themselves, which is what they did in the first 2 weeks. They tried to get cute. Hey, we have Derrick Henry back here, but we might use some sleight of hand and really no, just give him the ball. Just give him the ball,
right,
and shut up and get out of his way. Because when you do, as long as he's healthy, good luck. But when you try to get cute and hey, we're gonna trick you with no, there's no trick. Give him the ball. Why are we trying to?
Right.
Who are you? You have one receiver. You have Zay, and that's it. You got a tight end. It's probably a few years past his prime. That's it. Hey, why are you asking Lamar to do what we've seen him fail to do in the postseason? Give the ball to the big man and get out of the way, and then let's see if that changes things. And for the first time against Buffalo, it finally seemed like Harbaugh wasn't going to outsmart himself, and they were going to come out and actually run what they should have been running the entire year. And oh wow, that worked. What a shock! Yeah, we're all stunned. Give the big man the ball. Feed him. He is still dominant. Yes, that's why you got him.
That's why you got him.
I guess we see, can he hold up health wise? But until that happens, all you can do is feed him and see what he does.
Right. Because I think Lamar showed his hand last year. I don't know if he tried to prove something in the championship game against Mahomes. Was he trying to prove that he can pass? No, be yourself. Be who they pay you to be.
Yes.
Because
because you can be dangerous when you are.
Right. Right. Trying to be that pocket passer. You're not a pocket passer. You're a mobile quarterback. Be a mobile quarterback. I think that changed the whole dynamic of that game.
That game ended up being a 1-score game. Honestly, that didn't feel like a 1-score game. That felt like a 3-touchdown game. Right. I never once thought Baltimore was in that game. I was like, no, this is over. Right. This is over. No, Mahomes is just too good. And like you said, Baltimore didn't play their brand of football. They tried to be someone they weren't, and it was proven that it didn't work.
So early in the season, do you have your picks for the Super Bowl already, or you need to see more?
Nope. I have the same ones I picked in August, and I'm sticking with them. I have Kansas City beating Detroit in the Super Bowl, and we'll see on the Detroit side. But until I see something different, that's what I'm going with. Yeah, I've got Kansas City beating the Lions. Yep.
Wow.
Until I'm proven differently.
Yeah.
I'm fine with the Niners. Here's my concern for your team, and I'm not hating on the Niners. It's funny to me. And I would assume we're probably around the same age, at least in the ballpark. I have no idea, but if you'd have told me back in the 90s, there's going to come a day when they're going to say the San Francisco 49ers can't win a big game, I would have went, what are you talking about? That's all they do is win big games. And now here we are. Here is my concern for San Francisco, because they have gone to the Super Bowl twice in 3 years and lost. Yep. And a few more than that in the last 5 or 10 years. At some point, doesn't the injury bug and or just Super Bowl hangover have to bite? The fact that it hasn't yet, honestly, might be the most impressive thing they've done, because it bites everyone. If you lose a Super Bowl, it is usually almost guaranteed you're not only not getting back, you're probably going to take a step back and not even hit the postseason. The fact that he's kept them together and they're doing as well as they is actually pretty impressive, because most teams don't do that. My fear for the Niners this year, you need a little bit of luck to kind of stay healthy and keep guys on the same page and keep running that back. My worry for them is just, do you just have that year that, hey, everybody's just banged up. Everybody just couldn't get on the same page health-wise. That was my concern for San Francisco going into the season. To be honest, they've actually done a little bit better so far than I thought they would, because they have been so banged up. So I give them a ton of credit, but that's the reason that I don't have San Francisco back as far as a championship team. That's tough to do. That's really, really hard to do.
That's very hard to do. So in the Niners schedule, I'm looking at the next 3 weeks. They have the Cardinals, the Seahawks, and the Chiefs. I'm not confident about the games. None of them. The Cardinals are showing some signs of life. Seahawks are playing okay, and then you got the Chiefs, of course.
Of course.
Do you go into the Chiefs game thinking Super Bowl?
Right. Because honestly, you can't. Because if you win that game Does it change anything from last February? No. But
No.
we know how that game is going to be told to us. Hey, there's a Super Bowl rematch. Let's go. It's going to be interesting. I'm going to be watching. I'm going to have my popcorn, but it's not going to undo what was done in February. So, that's a tough slate for San Francisco. Seattle, always tough. Arizona, a pain, and a divisional team that knows you really, really well. And I mean, little Kyler Murray out there running around like he stole somebody's cell phone. You never know.
All right. Well, we got Clint Daly on here from the Daly Dose Sports Podcast. We've been going for about an hour now.
Yeah. I've actually got a heart out. So I'm gonna have to get a heart out here in a minute. But what do you got?
Okay. Well, but before you go, let's dive into the little bit of college football, then we can get out of here.
Okay.
Did you check?
All right.
Did you see the Alabama Georgia? Did you see
I
Alabama?
did. I watched that from beginning to end. And wow. One, just what a great game. What a great atmosphere. Just an absolute wild game. Unpredictable. Hey, this game's over. Oh, wait. No, it's not. Oh, wait. It's still not over. You want to talk about keeping you on the edge of your seat until the very, very end. An absolutely wild game in Tuscaloosa.
Right.
Showed me a little bit about both teams. Really impressed with what Kalen DeBoer had his team ready to do when they came out and took the field. Came out and just lit Georgia up. If you'd have told me they're going to be up, what was it, 30-7? I mean, there's no way. Come on, Georgia. And at the same time, I give Georgia a ton of credit. They came back and took the lead. Holy cow. Imagine if they could drive in Georgia, what they would do. My goodness, if they just could get a driver's license test without just crashing into somebody, what an amazing run that would be for the Georgia Bulldogs. But what a phenomenal game. And honestly, both those teams are playoff bound, aren't they? I mean, that was my biggest takeaway. Both these teams are going to be in the final 12, and I don't know who's going to beat them because they are really, really both good.
Right. Yeah. And I listened to your part. Like I said, I listened to one of your podcasts, and you were talking about even with the 12-team playoff system now, it might be all SEC Big Ten. You still sticking to that?
It sure looks like it. I mean, the Big 12 has kind of disappointed. I mean, Kansas State was supposed to kind of be the big dog. We're going to see, they've got at least tests this week in facing Colorado. And I don't know that Colorado's that good, but Kansas State's going to have to show more than what they've been showing. We know that the ACC has been a disappointment because Miami is pretty much it right now. Nothing else really even looks that strong. Big Ten. Now, don't get me wrong. You're going to get a team from the ACC. You got to get a champ. You're going to get a champ from the Big 12. Outside of that, though, you're going to get one at large who right now you could be looking at, I don't know, like a UNLV even. And then you're going to get like 4 teams from the SEC and like 4 teams from the Big Ten because those two leagues are monsters. They're so good. Yeah. I mean, if you're looking at those 2 teams from the SEC, Bama, Georgia, Tennessee is no joke. I know Ole Miss got knocked off, but Ole Miss is still right there. I mean, you've got a ton of talent in that conference. And the Big Ten, we're gonna start finding out. The hard part for me about Big Ten is they haven't started real tough. Best team in it looks like Ohio State. They haven't played anybody. Okay. And so I don't know exactly what to think of them just yet, but we're going to find out. But that Big Ten is stacked. Man, they have team after team after team. It's so top heavy. Big Ten and SEC are the big dogs, and it's not close.
Wow. Yeah, right now they got Alabama ranked 1, Texas, Texas, Ohio State, Tennessee, Georgia, Oregon, Penn State, Miami, Missouri, and Michigan. That's the way they have them ranked right now.
And we're going to get some tests coming up here in the next 2 or 3 weeks even that are going to tell us a little bit more about who those teams really are. Because Oregon is a team that I'm concerned with. They didn't look very good through the first 2-3 weeks. Yeah. We're going to find out now because that was against nobodies. Now we're going to find out what are they really made of. Hey, that should be a good football team. They've got a lot of talent. They've got a really talented quarterback. We're going to find out. It's going to get real interesting now because you've got some big dogs coming up on the schedule and they haven't played any yet. So I want to see what they do against real competition.
Wow. All right, Clint. Well, I appreciate you coming on, buddy.
Of
You know,
course.
it was just fun. You know, I love talking sports. I could talk at 24/7, you know,
Hey,
24 hours,
anytime,
and
anytime you
365.
need it, anytime you need a guest, you hit me up. We'll do it again. I'm the same way. I love talking sports. I can talk sports anytime, any place. So appreciate you having
Definitely.
me on. All the best in with your show, and let's work together sometime soon.
Sounds good. And you know, anytime you need a guest on yours, you know, just hit me up. I'm always available. I'm
I'll do it.
definitely
I'll
always
do it.
available.
Yeah, let's definitely do that. Let's work
All
together
right.
on that. Hey, appreciate it.
Okay, sounds good. All right. This has been Ray on Sports, Johnny Ray coming into you live once again from the JR Studios in Lancaster, California. Had my man Clint Daly on there from the Daly Dose. If you want to go see his show, it's called the Daly Dose Podcast. He's available on Apple, Spotify, iTunes, all that. This show, if you missed any of this episode and you want to catch it again, just go to Apple, go to Spotify, or even tell your smart speaker to play Ray on Sports, episode 22, and you can hear the show again. Also be available again here on Facebook as well as on YouTube. So once again, thank you for listening. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for following the show. Please follow the show if you haven't followed it before. But this is Johnny Ray for Ray on Sports. Thank you. Take care, and God bless.